Hello everyone, my name is WalStreet, and today we're here to watch a Caddicarus video. Yes, I finally, hopefully, knock on wood, will react to another one. And guess what? This will be a series. Not next week, but the following week afterwards this video gets released. We will be doing Monday Caddicarus week, where I react to videos you recommend or videos I want to watch. I'm currently going to go to all the videos I want to watch from the playlists I have not seen, that either YouTube didn't notify me on or whatnot. You can comment down below videos you want me to see. Just don't spoil anything. Don't give me hints. Just give me the title, because if you give me a hint, I will be able to figure out what video it is. So, like, one comment. I'm not gonna blast them or anything. I just want to make sure it's simple. They put up the title. I'm like, okay, I am sorry. I'm assuming that's an apology video. But as soon as I read the first sentence after the summary of this video is, I knew what video it was and that I watched it. Now the title is just basically better to let me know, okay, add this to the playlist. I'll check later and see if it's something I have already watched. So there's that. Anyways, this is the expensive world of the PS5 launch. The console I wanted to pick for this generation because what I do is I buy one generation of console because I am mostly a PC person, but I usually buy one console. PS2. Then I got the 360, Xbox 360. Then I got the Xbox One because I just prefer the handling and holding of this. Honestly, it was the controller that bought me, and holy crap, Xbox is trying to take over my computer. But this is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't want to play it anymore. Because Xbox games are just not that interesting to me now. I was getting interested in PlayStation 4 games and whatnot. So I was really excited to buy the PS5, but even to this day, I cannot find any. And if I do find any, I don't have the money for it at that point of time, and it pisses me off. That's why I've been investing more into my PC setup. But I want to see someone who should, based off this title, have experience with this. To tell me, did I make the right choice of not buying it when I could? Or at like the dead beginning? Or did I make a mass mistake? Anyways, here we go. As per usual, as of right now, I mean, no edits. We're going to pause whenever I feel like talking, but that's about it. Roll the tape. Yo, motherfucker. Oh yeah, no edits. So if I make a mistake, I lose.
Taking my pills so that I don't murder you. Taking my pills so that I don't murder you. Taking my pills so that I don't murder you. Taking my pills so that I don't murder you. Have you had your pills? Yes, so I won't murder you. Who, me? Yes, you! Well, that's brilliant because it's nearly Christmas and I have way too much to do today. What's that smell? Oh no. What? What happened? I took the wrong pills. Oh dear. I think I'm about to... I think I'm about to... Please, not on the carpet. I think it's happening. I can feel it coming. Oh no! God, please help me! Stop! Oh, would you look at that? Somebody's at the back door. I wonder...
Okay. For one, that's my mom, in the nutshell. Don't take the pills, she will murder you. If she does take the pills, she has a self-constructive explosion. A mass casualty and painful death. So, I relate to this. Especially around Christmas time when money is tight. Anyway, who's at the door? Gentlemen, and hopefully it's not a sponsor because people love these sponsorships, but I refuse to watch sponsorships unless I'm getting paid.
I wonder who it could be.
Oh, glass! I haven't touched that in a while.
Oh, you again? Come on, it's nearly Christmas. You can't just barge into my life uninvited, lock me inside my house for 8 months, get married to me, leave suddenly after our honeymoon, and then expect me to welcome you back with open arms. I moved on. Say hi, honey. Hello. And it won't be too long before you're gone forever, and everybody will be happy to see you fall down. Oh, God, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. No, I'm sorry. Look, I'm just fed up with this year. It's been hard. Come on, don't go. Come back, please.
You said too much, man. But that wall ain't coming back.
We had a baby.
Boy, I came too many scares about that. In my last relationship, it was too many close calls with that. Whoo, don't you dare make me feel that pain, man. Anyways, I feel happy for your baby. Hopefully you treat it with love and care, and hopefully you don't break it in half. Like what she did.
Speaking of bricks, I should really get to ordering my PS5.
Good luck with that.
Well, this is going to be a sad and lonely Christmas this year, isn't it? Sony! You cheeky little fans! Seriously, these things were impossible to find, weren't they? So I consider myself extremely lucky that PlayStation themselves looked at smelly old Caddy and gave one to me. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. I love
You
this thing
lucky
so
bugger.
much, I could just give it a big old caddle.
I mean, fair, that's what I will be doing.
I can't believe there are 5 pussies in here.
So yes, it's finally here, the PS5.
Of course you would.
And before we begin looking at it, can I just say that
This is the biggest lolloping oaf I've ever seen. This thing is massive. It's easily the biggest console I've ever owned. And just look at it on my TV stand. Mario is getting suffocated and the Wii U already didn't stand a chance, but now it might as well just give up.
Now, I do know that I was sent a PS5, because I just said it, weren't you listening? But regardless of such, I can't use that to bias myself towards how I feel about this great lump of scaffolding. I mean, I didn't go easy on the PlayStation Classic despite being sent one. And as soon as the system loads up the main menu,
It crashes into a brick wall and piss off miles an hour.
and I won't let their generosity towards me cloud what I'm going to say in this video, because I am fully aware how much this all costs. I should know, because I was right there day one on the pre-orders, and I put all my money down the second I could. Then PlayStation very kindly reached out to me a week later and asked if I would like one, to which I said, oh, yes, please. But you could have told me before I wasted 2 months' worth of my family's food bill!
And then, that's what got me thinking about a potential video. Because, for as fun or as impressive as this technology is, when I put my money down for it, it still initially costed me £893.90p to get it! That's roughly the same as $1,200! Christ!
Yeah.
Santa might forget a couple of gifts this year, won't he? And that's not all. At the time of filming this video, I still haven't got my money back on the original pre-order I made for this system. So even though I did eventually get a free PS5 and a couple of games in the form of review copies, at this moment in time, I've still technically paid for all of it. What I'm getting at is that this is not cheap. It's easily the most amount of money I've ever spent in my life on a console before. So all I can do is plonk myself here, stare at my sad reflection through the TV screen, and think to myself, is this even worth it?
So this video...
And that's why I'm here today, to see if I make the right call. Now, granted, this setup I have right now is good. It could be better. Basically, I'm relying on my laptop, my gaming laptop, which, the biggest scam in the world. I got tricked. Thanks a lot, Tyler. You tricked me. I trusted you. I trusted you, and you backstabbed me. The computer I was going to get would have been better. Oh, crap. So, the setup I have right now could be better. The only thing I need to do is build a PC, because that'll be cheaper. Caddy, I'm sorry, but I'm about to commit sin. But that's the future me's problem I have to deal with. I'm okay with what I have right now.
Today aims to answer that question. Is there enough brand new stuff here to warrant running down a grandparent in the shop
Yes
store?
and no.
Not including repackaged games from previous systems like Devil May Cry 5
Not
Special
mine,
Edition.
no.
Well, let's begin with what you get in the box with the standard Pinky Sniff 5.
But I've only got 2.
Here is the box. It is a box, and standing there proudly on the left-hand side of it is my missing school folder. So let's take a look at what we got here. We have a HDR compatibility and
4K!
Good.
And we can go up to 8K? I didn't even know that existed!
What do you think that will look like?
What's the point? Isn't 4K high enough? Why do you need double 4K?
It's a branding choice. Like, let's be real, okay? Let's be real. HD on a phone camera. Pretty good. The 4K function on this, and once you go 60 frames per second, is pointless from a filming standpoint. A picture, okay, we can argue. We can go back and forth. Make sure you don't zoom, though, because 4K cannot handle that zoom ability. 4K on this. Pretty powerful. Try to go up to 8K on this bitch, and you will regret life. 8K can only be handled on the big cameras because of the pixels. If it's a tiny little speck and it says 4K, don't believe it. It's a scam. Trust me. I literally took college courses in filming where we analyzed cameras and found out that a 2012 camera can still have the same quality as a 4K camera just because of the pixels. 8K is pointless unless you have one of the big ass cameras that looks like it came from 1950. So yeah, 4K is the way to go. HD, solid. 8K, pointless, you wasted your money.
This is stupid. PS5 is stupid, don't buy it. After this, you're going to want to try and get the thing out of its cage, but once it's free, make sure to give it plenty of sunlight and free-range eggs before deciding where you're going to put it. You can have it sideways, like mine, or have it standing vertically, but whatever you do, don't make the first mistake I did and completely miss the console stand that's hiding in the box. If you don't attach that and lay the PS5 down, you'll turn it into a functioning seesaw, and if you decide to stand it up without attaching the stand, you'll be blocking off some of the vents that prevent the console from overheating, which if you aren't careful may
That's
lead
good
to
to know.
this. You also get yourself the beautiful and comfortable DualSense controller, and that is it. That is all you get with the PS5 out of the box. When I pre-ordered, I couldn't see any bundles with games or bundles with accessories, which is £450 immediately gone. What is this? The video game industry? As for the optional stuff I managed to pre-order though, I grabbed myself a controller charging dock that is basically a tiny little PS5. It's very cute. A USB camera for Sony to watch you disappoint Jesus on the sofa, and a second controller for all of the games that have no two players. It's not all bleak though, to be fair, because since I got the disc model, I'm at least able to play my physical disc PS4 games and even download a few of them directly from my PSN account. Plus, if you have a PS Plus account for Plus Online Play Plus, you can even jumpstart your backlog of last-gen games you missed by downloading a huge collection of some of PS4's greatest hits for no extra cost, from Ratchet & Clank to Bloodborne.
I mean, sure, you're gonna have to pay for a PS Plus account if you don't already have a PS Plus account, which you then have to tally on top of the value of the console, meaning you could be spending up to a good 500 quid before you even turned the thing on. And yeah, that's for playing online, but it's also for the sake of playing a load of PS4 games when you probably own all of the games and the PS4 console to play them on in the first place. But don't worry, it's okay, because for your consumer loyalty, you don't only get all of the old PS4 games on PS Plus, but you also get given one brand new free game to go with your PS5 at launch. Gee, thanks, Soin!
And that new game that came with my PS Plus online subscription right out the gate was Bang Sniff. Yeah, it's time to jump into the games now, but I should preface that because there's a lot to get through here and I have to get this video done before 2023, I'm only going to give all of these games around 2 hours of my time each, so consider all of these first impressions. Bug Snacks was made by Young Horses, who you may remember from Octodad Dadliest Daddy, so how do you follow on from a game about an octopus who's convinced the whole world he's a human? Well, Naturally, with a game about strawberries, carrots, and hot dogs with googly eyes and anuses on their faces. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here, just your average game about a man with sock puppet hands made out of meat trying to trap and collect as many adorable fruits, vegetables, and junk foods as possible that just so happen to be alive. And even if you're not too sold on the premise here, I'm convinced that at least one of these little critters you see will make you go, "Oh my god!" Personally, I find all of these creatures very endearing, and I find it more fascinating just watching them all dibble around than actually solving some of the deviously interesting logic puzzles in order to catch them. I mean, look at this thing. Look at it! I wish you were my child! This one is broken and I want my money back! And by the way, I think we need to correct the Bible, because it was obviously Bunga who died for our sins. So you're playing the game, running around this unique little land of fuzzy muppets with names like Wambus and Clumby, and you're really enjoying seeing all of the precious and creative little snack monsters walking around. You scan them, you take pictures of them, you catch them, you want to give them all a kissy-wissy on the lippy-dippy. You're having a way.
So basically, this is Subnautica, but for 3-year-olds. Okay. Not my type of game, so now I'm good. Thank you, though.
Still have a jolly old time, and then you take your discoveries over to your friends to show them, where they decide to consume them, and then the animals grow out of their limbs like tumors.
What?
Yeah, if you couldn't tell by the name, Bug Snacks isn't just about seeing and collecting cute little creatures. They are indeed based on foods for a reason. You have to eat them. And when one eats a bug snack, they trade a portion of their soul to forever morph a random part of the body into the very thing they just ate, taking the phrase "you are what you eat" a little too literally, and turning this kid-friendly, easygoing adventure into a mix of Pokemon, Ape Escape, and Silent Hill. I'm serious, take the charming little mask off of this and you're left with a disturbing, greasy fetish game where living beings get vored and then growthed while everyone smiles and winks at you.
Y'all just get along now. I'll catch up.
And that's not all. I feel like this entire universe is some kind of shorthand euphemism to a demographic who probably doesn't wash. This lady here, Bethica, has a second name that is basically just slang for cocknose. The first character you meet nearly has the first name of a naughty toy, and if you rearrange the letters of his second name, you end up with... Then, if I'm not busy turning the residents of this screwed up little cult into Lady Gaga, I'm given a story where I'm told...
They ain't animals, and they ain't plants. No organs, no seeds, nothing. And you have to eat them raw, or they turn to mush.
That, I swear, man, this is an unintentional horror game. I'm getting chills. I even discovered this part right here, where Wambus won't stop talking about how much he misses his wife, but then after going to his house to rummage around illegally, I discovered that he has a cactus that he dresses up exactly like his wife, that is right next to his bed, which is right next to the front door. Wambus doesn't only love getting prickles and scabs between his legs, he's also proud of it, and wants the entire town to see him do it. This game is for kids. And we have an exhibitionist.
Nobody's figured out how bug snacks reproduce, but I got an idea.
I'm gonna ram my dick in a cactus and grow some myself.
Oh, God.
I feel all sticky just looking at it. Oh my god, what is that?
Well, so far, I've been scarred for life and it only cost me £500, so thank you, PlayStation.
Just based off of that description, that lovely little description of the most kinkiest motherfucker as you can probably find on a BDSM test, I'm gonna rate that probably a solid 5 out of 10 game. I see potential. But it ain't for me, pal. It ain't fucking for me.
And what else have you got for me to nibble on? What's this here? Astros Playroom? It comes pre-downloaded with every console for absolutely nothing? Okay,
What?
Cool. Well,
Let's
it
see.
may be nothing more than a tech demo, but as Prince Andrew once said, I can't say no to a free go in a playroom.
So here we are, Astros Playroom, or as I like to call it...
Okay, dude. Oh, chill with that shit. I have a vivid imagination, pal. I don't need that imagery. Oh, fuck you. True, but fuck.
Jeff Bezos Simulator. How dare you take a toilet break on your shift? Get back to work! Astro has sort of become a mascot for PlayStation as of late, but not a mascot for the company. I mean more the PlayStation console tech itself. I have never heard of a hardware mascot before, aside from these handsome young chaps on graphics card packaging, but whenever PlayStation have a new console or a new piece of tech for a console, Astro is usually front and center to promote it because he apparently lives inside it. And I'm okay with that because just look at him. He's so cute I could pee all over it. This here is a short but sweet collectathon platforming game in which you explore the worlds that exist within the PS5 console itself. There's a world inside the graphics processor, a world inside the cooling system, a world inside the solid state drive, you get the idea. And there's not really that much to it. You explore, fight enemies occasionally, find secrets, and jump all over the damn place like a little lamb running from the farmer's shotgun. Most importantly though, this game will make you point and laugh excitedly at the screen with great enthusiasm while making noises like because of the dozens and dozens and dozens of references they included. Joel, please stop scaring me!
Look, Ellie, I just think that The Last of Us 2 is a fine game, but just not worth Game of the Year.
Astro's Playroom is essentially a massive dump of fan service and celebration over the PlayStation brand and how far it has come since 1994. If the entire point of this game was to reinforce to you why buying a PS5 was a good idea, then it does its job so damn well in that department. You often forget that you're playing a tech demo disguised as a simple platformer, to be honest, because there's just so much to absorb, with references and background details to PlayStation exclusives everywhere, more subtle and hidden Easter eggs to other games associated with Sony, details that are very easy to completely miss, like with character idle animations and names of trophies, and even references to franchises I never thought they'd ever mention again.
Ridge Racer! Remember that one?
Sure, this is basically all just look at me, and a load of indulgent self-flagellation from PlayStation about their own console. I mean, come on, this is pushing it a bit far, don't you think? Oh my god, man, stop it! You don't need to hump the shitting thing! Dad, can we please move? I don't want to watch this anymore. But the star of Astro's Playroom isn't Astro, or the references, or the gorgeous visuals, or even the gameplay. It's the DualSense controller itself. Seeing as this is indeed a tech demo game, Astro doesn't only go out of its way to show you how smoothly it can run beautiful looking games and how fast they can load while sounding practically silent in your living room. So I'm playing a pretty graphically intense game right now, as you can see. I've muted the TV so you can't hear the game, and it is not making a sound. Like, no sound at all. It is a quiet little king. But also demonstrates how awesome the controller itself is, with its incredibly realistic vibration technology, even rivaling Nintendo's Joy-Con HD Rumble, and the adaptive triggers. The triggers of which are so cool, it even makes the controller testing screen a fun time. Yeah! What do I mean by this, though? Well, basically, 80% of the time, the triggers of this thing feel like any other regular controller triggers. You know, loose but springy. However, every so often, depending on what you do in different games, each individual trigger provides you unique levels of stiffness, vibration, and resistance using tiny little motors and magic. It's very hard to explain without you feeling it happen yourself, but trust me when I say it's one of the coolest things about the system. Holding and pointing a laser, activating rocket boosters, using a camera shutter, gripping a plastic ball until you pop it open. It actually feels like you're doing these things with your fingers thanks to the triggers. And that isn't all that this controller can do. The touchpad returns from the PS4 DualShock controller, which means I can make it say Q. And of course there's the gyro motion controls that can be flipped entirely around without anything going wrong, minus a few thousand dead little men living in the controller. When you mix all of this extensive testing and usage of all the PS5's features into a simple but damn good collectathon platformer, and then fill it to bursting full of nostalgic callbacks, you end up with one of the best PS5 games you can get so far. Yes, I'm being serious, and it comes with the console.
My love for this game is deeper than Loch Ness.
Of course, well, to be fair, I think because they made the game, they know the limitations, they know how to push it just right to make it actually a good game without making it a self-advertisement. So that doesn't surprise me, but since it's basically a sellout game, I have to drop it from a solid 8 game, from the way you describe it, to a 7. Based off of what you describe, so there you go. But I have to be fair, after you describing that game, I am upset that I can't play it. Maybe for the trigger, because I want to be triggered. So, yeah.
Yes. and there's a monster living in it.
In fact, while recording, I did not want to stop playing this game, and I got a bit lost in this lovely little console world, but I really want to save my reactions for whatever else this game has hiding in it on a stream or something. So, goodbye, Astro, for now, and let's start moving on to the heavy hitters. The big boy video games that I managed to pre-order that should hopefully keep me entertained throughout the holidays. And what better way to start off than with SpiderMan, Miles Morales. Despite this game sounding like a spin-off, Miles Morales is actually a full-length, content-packed sequel to the original Spider-Man PlayStation 4 exclusive that came out not too long ago, brought to us by the same team behind the original Spyro and Ratchet & Clank, starring every single white gaming YouTuber mixed into a paste, and appropriately enough, it all takes place at Christmas time. Merry Queenie.
Nice.
What's this? Christmas present.
It's a PS5. I stuck a poor family to the ceiling just to skip the queue. And oh my goodness, what a sequel this is. Fine, I'm not the biggest fan of the character interactions this time compared to the first game, and fine, this is very straightforward in terms of the story. This isn't exactly as complex as a movie from Quentin Tarantula, but it has everything it needs for a next-gen sequel and for a fantastic Spider-Man game in general. You've got the same impressively fluent and endless possibility combat system, but with even more toys to play with and way more ways to attack with those mind-blowing animations. You've got the returning, beautifully rich and bustling New York City playground, but with everything loading so much faster. And you've got the same slick and non-stop pace, but with everything running silky, buttery smooth. And this is even more impressive to me because much like the original Spider-Man on PS4, Miles Morales looks visually stunning, but it's even more spectacular now it's running perfectly at 60 frames per second. And after just over 90 minutes of slinging around the city, catching speed and boosting my momentum while the breathtaking sun gleamed in my eyes, it left me feeling like,
where did my nipples go?
I mean, even the snowflakes fall and melt individually on everyone's outfits. That's when I knew this was something special. And I'm at least glad to see the razor-sharp sense of humor and slapstick timing from combat moments are just as tight as they were in the original.
Thank you! You're welcome!
Miles Morales is everything that made the first Spider-Man game brilliant, but now it's even more brilliant, and I'm thrilled to say that. Well, except for the first spider suit you get, I really hate that neck. I can't help but think that's his flappy neck skin. It looks like the shaft of an old man. And I would love to play this game a little bit more for this video, but unfortunately I started a quest from my mother to open the front door to my house when the game bugged out and absolutely refused to let me leave the kitchen. I am stuck staring at my mother's bum while unable to step back away and walk to the front door. Why is Miles okay with this?
Miles, can you get the door?
Yes, I'm trying, Mammy, but you locked me in the kitchen. Why don't you get it? Aside from that weird problem I had, though, I still think you should get this game as soon as you can, because you get to see Spider-Man's banana lair in 4K.
Oh god! Oh no! Action stations, everybody! My house is coming down! The supporting beam
Oh
has
god!
collapsed. Oh.
Next up, I got myself Godfall.
Okay. The only reason I might about it is because the two people who I know who was able to play it, granted, it was on PS4, not PS5. At least what they claim. I didn't believe it because I could never find it, even though I visited their house, so I'm just gonna rely and watch some YouTuber. They said the game was bad, so I was like, Granted, it was PS5, so I want to see. Because I'm one of those weird people that don't want to get spoiled on something, unless it's been a couple years and spoil away. So, alright. I got my interest because I trust this guy over my friends. Let's be real.
The game about gods that fall. That was a great game. And then we get a cutscene introducing us to the story, and the audio is completely out of sync with the pictures.
Ouch.
It turns out that this game was published by Gearbox, so if you thought for a moment that Gearbox would have their name attached to a stable game...
It was all a lie.
Sorry, I'm being horrible. The game was fine for me after that, but if there's anything I think you should definitely fix, it's the title, because it should be called Godfall Asleep. This game bored me, I'm sorry to say, and that sucks because there's so much here I absolutely love. The controls are tight, the DualSense trigger effects and dynamic vibration feel extra crunchy, and once again, the game looks wonderful and loads obscenely quickly. Not to mention the performance, 60 frames per second flawlessly again. But none of this really matters when you're thrown into a bland world where everyone has names like Orange, the characters deliver their lines like supermarket cashiers, and the point of the game is you needing to get stronger in order to stop your evil brother, who you used to love, but now he's evil and he's too powerful. And then you get the gameplay, and oh boy, for an action combat RPG, The combat is remarkably game-breaking right from the start and not very interesting. Your combos feel absolutely endless, there's no stamina bar to punish you for spam attacking or spam dodging, the timing window for shield carrying is way too generous, most of the enemies are consistently staggered by constant quick light attacks allowing for easy room clear-outs, and the more abilities you unlock and get to play with, the easier it gets. I played Godfall for just over 2.5 hours and I only healed manually one single time. Not only because of how simple it is to overpower your enemies, but because all the enemies drop so many health pickups that you'll only find yourself low on health during boss encounters, which also drop health during the fight. And no, me using a higher than average damage pre-order weapon doesn't make a difference to how the combat works, because I was having all of the exact same issues even with the weak starting weapons at the very beginning of the game for about 45 minutes. It feels like Godfall is trying to be like Neo, but the odds are stacked so highly in your favor that you'll be able to power your way through missions without really thinking about it, using high power and low power attacks to your heart's content. I mean, even during the parry lesson 45 minutes into the game, I didn't even need to parry because the dude would not hit me if I just stepped to the side. It got so bland that as soon as the second mission began, I switched to hard mode, and even then, I still didn't struggle. Or if I did run into an enemy slightly more complex than the rest, I still wasn't massively thinking about how best to approach them because they all go down in the same way. Oh, and what about that awful lock-on camera? You know, the one that doesn't make it clear at all if you're even locked onto an enemy, and doesn't actually move the camera's focus around your body for the best viewpoint of the enemy, and that can't switch targets with the right stick while you're locked on. In group situations, which 90% of my fights were, this all makes the lock-on practically worthless, meaning you have to swap your right thumb between dodging and turning the camera all the time, which is not exactly ideal.
So basically, this game, in a nutshell, is every single thing I hate in an adventure game, roleplay game, and all that in a single thing. Uncontrollable camera, easy gameplay, not tough enemies, spam attacks. Alright, I know what game not to get, so let me quickly write that down. Godfall from Grace. Alright.
And what about the other half of the game, the looting? Sure, I gotta admit, I do like the idea of finding new gear and seeing how it stacks up to your current gear. It's very Borderlands-ish, but when you're jumping from the stupid fast pace of the combat to the running around blank empty spaces, making sure you smash absolutely every single item in each room before moving on, and then stopping and waiting for the items to hit the floor, otherwise you won't pick them up properly, you'll quickly see how at odds these two major mechanics are with each other. Crafting upgrades and finding items is a big part of Godfall, so you will need to do this slow, samey, smashing up exploration as often as you can. And by the way, who decided that the shield throwing move needed a cooldown? Because when you're trying to hit switches from a distance and you miss, you need to wait around 20 seconds to try again. Oh, oops, need to wait and try again. Oh, oops, need to wait and try again. Oh, oops, need to wait and try again. Oh my god! Sorry,
This has the element of mobile games that I could not stand. I hate mobile games that makes you have to wait to play for it again. Or, I know it's probably not in this game based off what he's saying, but can you pay us $19.99? We let you play 3 more times. Pretty please. Pretty please with the hands up in the air like you just don't care. Like, bitch, you made yourself free. You should have made us pay for it if you want to be that stingy for money. Yep, I'm definitely not getting this game. Thanks for the heads up.
I feel like I'm being unfairly harsh with Godfall. I mean, like I said, I'm only really getting first impressions here, and I would not say that this is a bad game in the slightest, just boring, uninteresting, and samey with a broken combat system. I don't know, maybe it becomes the game of the year if I give it a little bit more than 2.5 hours, but honestly, I'd rather try something else. And that makes me pretty sad, because I'll never see what happened to High Lord Falech. I even managed to get a review from a friend of mine that works in video game retail after I told him I accidentally ordered the game twice. Yeah, PS5 orders have been a complete shambles. And after I told him about this, he replied, apparently you shouldn't even want 1 copy.
So thank you so much for doing your job properly and selling this game to the public. Now, why don't we go from one extreme to the next?
Overcooked All-You-Can-Eat Edition.
What?
I've never heard of this series before until now, so at first I thought it was a baby game for babies. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my handle. But then I saw this giant meatball with teeth and spaghetti hands and realized it wasn't a baby game at all. Now, this is not the kind of game I would usually play for multiple reasons. Firstly, for how it looks, and secondly, because it turns out this is just a repackaged group of remastered games that already exist on other systems, so I don't count it as a new game available at launch. I didn't realize that when I bought this game because I'd never heard of the series before, and I'll make an exception this one time because there weren't too many games I was able to pre-order and I needed something to play on this godforsaken bulk, so I put my money down straight away. After which I very kindly got given a review code for it. In the not-so-distant future, the world is burning to the ground and all life as we know it has ended. But how do we fix such a catastrophe? Isn't it obvious? By making a load of tomato lettuce salads and then going back in time to 1993 in order to become the best chef ever.
What the fuck?
And even though I just started, I am well on my way because all of my meals get served up cold. As for the game itself, I wasn't massive on this one, to be honest. I mean, it's fine, but boy does it drag. Overcooked is an action puzzle game whereby controlling two chefs and...
It's just an off-brand remake of Cookie Mama. Is that what's happening? And Crazy Dino or whatever that game is, I forgot. Is that what this is? But with... Oh. Not interested. Thanks for the heads up.
Swapping between them when appropriate, you need to fulfill food orders by grabbing the correct ingredients, taking them to chopping boards if needed, popping them into a boiling pot if needed, and then mixing all the correct ingredients onto a plate ready to serve. There's a decent amount of brain power that goes into it as you need to multitask, swap chefs at the best times, usually when another chef is locked into a timed chopping or dishwashing animation, manage your boiling pots before they catch fire, and of course remember what needs prepping, what needs to be plated raw, and what you need to do in advance to best manage your time to serve as many meals as possible, because you need to do everything yourself, including serving the place. It sounds like a lot is going on, and initially there is, but once you get the grip of things, it becomes way too repetitive for me to bother. As soon as you get the correct rhythm and figure out the best orders of things to do for each chef while the other one is busy, you end up just doing the same method over and over again until the time limit is up. Not helping matters is how you plod along like Pooh Pants Patterson. It's weird. Overcooked somehow manages to mix stressful and slow at the same time. Maybe slow isn't the right word. Restrictive, perhaps? There's a ton of standing around and only being able to do one thing at a time and failing orders because you can't physically do everything with one chef at a time. But then again, I reckon this is because I'm not playing the game in co-op. It's clearly designed to be best enjoyed with at least 2 people. So hey, that's at least one game we've got for the spare controller. But still, even with 2 people, I don't think it makes Overcooked any more special. It's pretty unremarkable. Not bad, but not particularly good either. At least Overcooked 2 has zombie bread in it, and they're called... the Unbread. Sackboy A Big Adventure. Another game I pre-ordered, yet unluckily for me, ended up with a review code afterwards, so let's give this a go instead. No. Yeah. Originally debuting on the PS3 in the classic Little Big Planet, at this point I'm sure everybody knows who Sackboy is, and the more I see his name, the more it makes me think about what's in between men's legs. I've got a question for you all today. Are you feeling a bit down? A bit sad? Well, tough, because you're playing Sackboy, so you have no choice but to be happy.
Okay, please just don't hurt me. Oh no.
It is simply impossible to be unhappy when playing this game. It's too goddamn peppy. Even the title screen is happy. Not only because Sackboy is cute, but because of the graphical details and how much more real he looks. Check out the textures of his wall. All of the fuzzy bits and everything. I just want to reach out to the screen and put my wink all over it. Sackboy has come from a series entirely built around the concept of 2D platforming mixed with community creativity. People creating their own worlds, their own levels within those worlds, even their own kart racing levels. But after so many games based around this same idea with the same basic level editing tools, Sackboy has finally branched out and done what he should have done very shortly after Little Big Planet 2, become a dedicated platformer. I love Little Big Planet as much as the next guy, but I think we can all agree the actual platforming controls and mechanics are the weakest parts of the games, maybe except for Little Big Planet 3 and on PS Vita. They're not bad at all, but definitely not stellar, so I'm more than happy now that we're giving Sackboy a chance to focus on pure platforming and hopefully make this game more replayable as a result. And they didn't completely get rid of the creativity angle here either, because there are so many bloody cosmetics to find in the stages, and hundreds of costumes to purchase with the items you find in the stages too. I'm a hairy old wise man that left something in the oven. Ultimately though, this is a huge shame, but the game itself didn't blow me away too much, and it feels pretty middle of the road. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't recommend it at the drop of a hat. No! I know I've only played it for around 2 hours, and it is very endearing with the character designs and great voice acting from classic British comedians, and this universe made entirely from haberdashery and arts and crafts I adore. It takes me right back to how I felt when playing Tearaway for the first time. But as far as platformers go, meh, there's nothing standout or amazing going on here. Some of the power-ups are pretty cool, and a few moments got me engaged, but so far it feels like a much more straightforward and much more sedate version of Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. Your default movement speed is far too slow for platforming that's not that complicated. But then again, I only have just scratched the surface with this one. I will keep going because I want to see if it picks up. It's hooked me. But for now, I'm not completely astonished, even if you can slap things around with a dead fish as the best bit of the game.
Oh, hang on. Anybody seen my socks? Oh, they're on PS5.
So, how am I feeling about the money I invested into the PS5 at this point and still haven't had back? Yep, that about sums it up.
But maybe, just maybe, I'll find something else to love with a bigger and more impressive game. A proper AAA box office smash that will demonstrate to me exactly what the PS5 can really do.
So how about we take a look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
Alright. Assassin's Creed, at least in my opinion, hasn't failed me that much. So, hopefully this doesn't fail him and make me sad. Well, happy I didn't buy it, but sad that I almost was probably a good grand. Also, I'd like to just say real quick, platforming games, I'm cool with. I'm not a big fan of those, but I will play them if need be, so I can go 50-50 on that last game. So yeah. Let's see about this though.
Yep, nothing to see here. This is definitely this is Assassin's Creed, all right.
How about we take a look? Okay, dude, look into my eyes right now and listen to me. You paying attention? Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's good.
I'm looking.
Because my eyes are getting smaller. Ooh, look at them.
I'm looking.
Tiny little eyes. This game kicks ass. No joke. The
Of course it would.
Blew me away.
Of fucking course, Demon Soul will walk. Have you seen the franchise? The whole franchise is meant to kick your ass, make you regret life, and when you win, you feel like a motherfucking god. Demon Soul does not surprise me. Granted, I only played, what was it? Bloodborne and all those games once. However, this was one of the 3 games that highly interested me during the PlayStation launch. SpiderMan, because remember, I was an Xbox kid, not a PlayStation kid. So, any PlayStation 3, 4, and 5 games I will be interested in. So, Spider-Man, because why not? God of War. Well, 4 games actually. Harry Potter, because I'm a big Harry Potter fan. And also, Demon Souls. So, again, this does not surprise me.
A lot more than I was expecting. It's one of the best remakes I've ever played, and it's so good that I want to shove it right up my... To be reasonable, though, it's still not my favorite Souls game,
kinky.
And the music in the remake is upsettingly bland and generic in comparison to the original's minimalistic and stressful pieces of music. But, I mean, Christ, look at this. It's beautiful. Or my name isn't Caddicarus. Demon Souls is another game I actually ended up getting a review copy for after I already pre-ordered it and still don't have my money back. Either way, I don't mind too much this time, because I loved this game so much I would have bought myself another copy anyway. And I don't count it as a repackaged old game, because this was redone from the ground up and feels completely fresh as a result. Fundamentally though, in terms of the level design and such, this is basically the same game as the original Demon's Souls, the cult classic PS3 exclusive from 2009 that is often overlooked in favor of the, in my opinion, superior Dark Souls series made by the same developers. Remade lovingly here by Blue Point Games, also responsible for the Shadow of the Colossus remake for PS4 and approximately 3 million HD remasters of PS2 classics. Now don't get me wrong, I always liked Damon's Soup back in the day, but I never loved it, and it's the Souls game I put the least amount of time into by far. But with everything they tweaked and spiced up for this remake, I am now a lover of Demon's Souls. I love the look, I love the bleak and sorrowful atmosphere, I love the enemies, I love the bosses, and I love the squishy things that look like a Kraken's Jedit. And it's even better now, knowing that you've got possibly one of the most graphically impressive console games ever made that also manages to run at a consistent 60 frames per second without ever slowing down or stuttering at all, aside from like maybe 1-2 second moment in my 18-hour playthrough. Oh yeah, I should probably mention I didn't just put 2 hours into this. I already finished this game on my Twitch channel, and you're seeing my footage here from New Game Plus, hence I have my big bone hitty stick of poke. Most importantly to me though, and the thing that makes me never want to bother going back to the PS3 version ever again, the load times are lightning fast thanks to the solid state drive inside the PS5. Seriously, it's faster than my girlfriend when she sees me and moves away from me. Teleporting between areas and loading after dying is now roughly 15 seconds faster than it was on the PS3, allowing you to get back into the action faster, keep the atmosphere of dread alive without any respite, and make sure that it gets you very quickly back into killing all of those crusty demons. And for those of you who missed this game 11 years ago, or don't even know what it is, that is basically what you do here. Survive brutally punishing enemies through giant, winding, and increasingly complex locations without a map, open shortcuts to later on in the location so checkpoint restarts aren't quite as horrible, collect items, weapons, armor, and souls to then buy upgrades to your gear or your own stats, deal with multiple invasions from multiple assholes just trying to wet all over your best waistcoat, and then eventually make your way either to an epic and difficult boss to truly test your reflexes and wits, or a sympathetic moment that's more of a puzzle and that makes you question what you're doing and how the world around you works. Plot details are vague and mysterious, characters are all depressed or batshit insane, and in one of my favorite additions, they even added facial animations to all the NPCs, which is a world first for a game in the Souls series. And yeah, I admit, I do love the charm and eeriness of the characters not giving away their true feelings or intentions with their mouths and faces staying static whenever you talk to them, but I absolutely love these, I can't lie, especially for characters like the lying cheat Patches.
See that treasure over there? Go on and take it. My gift to you. Just to show that we're friends.
I don't know, it makes everybody look even more insane and desperate, and it comes across as infinitely more uncanny. I thought it was a great addition. It was scary. I also have to disagree with anyone out there that thinks these extra detailed and gorgeous graphics take away from the bleak and oppressive atmosphere the original was famous for, because come on, are you seeing this? I don't think it's lost any of that edge at all. It looks way cleaner for sure, but it's still dank and pitch black most of the time, and some of these areas are horrible to explore and make me regret being born. And I do regret being born because I chose to come out. Are you gonna sit there and tell me that there is no atmosphere in this shot, or that it looks too much like any other action RPG? Not to mention, you also need to get accustomed to the things Souls games are most famous for. You will die a lot. I wouldn't say that this was the hardest game I've ever played or anything, but it's certainly difficult and very punishing if you don't play patiently and learn how traps work and how enemies behave, or learn the most efficient ways to take them all down with specific weapons or types of attacks. Death can come for you so quickly too, and it doesn't matter how much health you have. You'll be sitting there minding your own business, eating a croissant, and then all of a sudden, oh! In fairness though, if you get too angry, you could always invade other players back and then wreck their shit so everybody's day is ruined. Yeah, I did very good. Is this a good place to start if you've never played a Souls game before? Honestly, I'm not sure I can answer that. I mean, if you've played the original before and couldn't stand it, I'd say stay away, because this is as faithful as a remake as you can get. Take away the occasional camera angle improvements and game performance upgrades, and you still have a demanding and stressful action RPG. And even though animations have been improved from the silly, bouncy, and rigid spasms of the original, the enemy behavior, speed of attacks, frames of invincibility, weight to your movement, and being invaded over and over and over and over again are more or less all identical. And this is, in my opinion, the most dated Souls game in terms of how you handle your health, store unwanted items, items, manage the items that you're able to carry, or even how you upgrade your weapons, meaning that a guide is probably necessary for first timers. The second to last boss even has a grab attack that, if you don't dodge, de-levels your character. I mean, what a piss dick. But that's the kind of game you're getting yourself into here. And if you're ever stuck, I'd love to jump in and help you out, but nobody ever seems to want to summon me. Please, somebody summon me. Please. I'm so alone. Oh, yay! A person! I can help that person! Hello, person! Watch me helping. I'm helping the person. Oh, I'm a good helper. Yeah, oh, look at that. I did it. Yeah, I helped. Taking that aside, though, I really think Demon's Souls shows off what the PS5 is capable of. And for one of the first games to play on it, it's a good one for my puddin'.
And then Ash cried out to Misty, "Oh no! That Squirtle took off my shirtle!" I don't remember Pokemon being like this.
Oh, I didn't notice you there! So can I answer my original question at the very beginning of this video? Is the PS5 worth the insane amount of money it costs to invest in at this particular time? Is it worth staying up all night, hitting refresh on all of your favourite websites until they pop up back in stock? Is it worth kicking kids in the head before they can get to the checkout desk with the last one in the shop? Oh, Jesus, no. Now, don't misunderstand. This isn't me saying that I don't like the PS5. Honestly, I kind of love it.
And that answers my question. Did I get lucky on the day I realized that my pre-order could not happen because I waited 1 second too long? It seems like I got lucky. Granted, I'm in a different situation than he was. I have never invested in PS4, so all those free games from paying in the Plus store, would actually help me out, try to get my repertoire going and whatnot. So I'm in a slightly different fucking English. I'm in a different situation than Caddicarus is. However, by the simple fact that he does not recommend it, granted this is over a year ago, I'm pretty positive, and there's more games that has been released, more updates and all that, maybe it's time to start getting invested in it next year. That's when I was planning on getting into it, when I get closer to graduate from college. To invest in this, and this will probably be my last console I will ever buy, and focus on PC for the remainder of time. Unless a new console comes in and blows my ever fucking mind. But I highly doubt that will happen at this point. But yes, that's my opinion, based off of this video alone.
Love it. I haven't had this positive of a first impression with a console in years, even if it is a giant cheese. The loading speeds are absolutely phenomenal, the visual fidelity is incredible while still allowing for flawless 60 frames per second gameplay, the controller is basically magic, but considering how hard it is to get one of these, particularly around the holiday season, I really think you should take a step back and think about what you're stressing over and what you're actually paying for here. Especially if you're that desperate where you'll pay an extra 50% of its original value back to a scalper that bought a shed load in bulk back in November. Obviously, I'm just talking as some asshole from the past that got this thing at launch, so who knows? Maybe by the time this video goes out, there will be a lot more available on the PS5.
Nope.
I hope there will be. But for this video and the launch of this console specifically in November, what exactly did I get? I got one brilliant console exclusive, one brilliant game also on PS4, one okay game also on PS4, one good game also on PS4 and PC, one boring game also on PC, one okay game that you can't only get on Xbox but is also just a repackaged collection of older games, one decent game that's on basically everything else, and one exclusive tech demo that comes with the PS5 anyway. Well, at least there's no knack. Out of all of the 8 games I played for this video, I can only seriously, absolutely, definitively recommend 4 of them. One of which is a tech demo, the other 2 of which are also on PS4 and other systems. Sure, those games might not run anywhere near as nicely on PS4, but the point is, I'm looking at things that you would need to drop everything to get a PS5 specifically for. The rest of the games I talked about were either okay, bad, or available on other systems. And if you got a game that was also on PC, like Bugsnax or Godfall,
then you have already been used to smoother frame rates and beautiful graphics options, and have been for years now, so the PS5 isn't going to do much for you.
In terms of consoles, the PS5 is certainly impressive, and if I didn't play anything on PC before this, I'd probably be even more impressed, but the truth is, I really feel as though this is what the jump from PS3 to PS4 should have been a while ago, because PC owners have been playing games in this way for years now, and that price is steep for what is essentially a lesser PC that can't do as much, while charging around $100 for some games that look and run as nice as PC versions of $60 games from around 6 years ago. What the hell, Sony? This is a total rip-off. For console-only players, yes, I do think this is finally a noticeable jump that we haven't seen since the PS2 to PS3, and I'm sure that all of the multi-platform games you choose to play with this will run very well. I mean, aside from one buggy moment in Valhalla, the rest of the time it was a wickedly smooth ride, and that's in an Assassin's Creed game. But geez, don't lose sight of yourself and look at what you're being charged for, knowing that PC gaming exists, because for what the PS5 actually offers to you that's unique and new now, these prices are not worth it.
So unless you really want to be a part of the conversation, before you rush off to Amazon.com and shout, "Flippity floppity, get in my property!" my advice to you is to just definitely ignore the scalpers. Their prices are not worth it even slightly. And just wait for the hype to die down a bit. Wait for the prices to come down. Wait for there to be a couple of bundles with better value games that come with the console as soon as you buy it. Wait for the restocks to come back. Wait for there to be a few more games available so it makes your purchase more worthwhile. The future is bright for the PS5. Make no mistake about that. And I may love it, but I stand by what I said. I just don't think it's worth it at this current time. So hold off a little bit. And in the UK at least, the value of some of the games they're selling, absolutely ridiculous, completely extortionate, especially, like I said, if you're already used to PC gaming. 2020's been a bastard, hasn't it? I think it's been rough for basically everybody this year.
Okay, that... Again, me and him see eye to eye. I'm just going to wait until 2023 to decide at that point of time to get the PS5. Again, different situation. I had the last PlayStation game I physically owned was the PlayStation 2. And I do enjoy that console the most, to be 100% honest with you, compared to the 360 and Xbox One. I just was wanting those systems because I had YouTube on it, and I didn't realize PlayStation had the YouTube feature. So I wanted the Xbox mostly as another version of internet, basically. Because that was before I had my laptop. And before I got more into PC. Because, at least in my area, tech isn't really a big thing. We have only entered the tech area recently. I mean, hell, the big attraction in our state is the Indianapolis 500. And we just, in the last 3 years, went to digital platforming instead of analog systems. I'm not even kidding. We're still trying to wait on urinals to be added instead of a pit in the bathrooms. I'm not even kidding. That's how old mentality-wise we are. We want to keep the old way of things. I mean, I didn't get past tape recordings and floppy disks and all that until probably 2012. That's when we went to more basically CD and streaming and Bluetooth. 2012. So that's why I always say we're 10 years in the past for Indianapolis at the very least. So again, I'm gonna invest more into my PC. But down the road, I would consider getting the PlayStation 5. And I know one of my cousins will get angry at me for not getting the Switch. The thing is, Nintendo games, there's only a handful of games I'm interested in. And the games I am interested in, I can get on PC. That's my mentality. One day I will get the Switch. Whenever it's bail, because Vanilla at the stores whenever I go in. So that's something I should mention too. Anyways, I will let him continue, and then we'll end this video.
Some way or another, And I won't dwell on it any longer than I need to. I mean, my 2021's kicking off great already because I've got to try and raise my brick child. But I just wanted to close off my last video of the year with a giant thank you. Thank you for watching my stuff, thank you for subscribing, and for the few of you out there that have let me know that my stupid shit has cheered you up even a little bit at some point this year, special thank you to you. You have no idea how much that means to me. And seeing as you guys have all been way too kind to me this year, I want you now to treat yourselves. Stay safe and stay sensible, but please close off 2020 with a giant middle finger. Celebrate the holidays loudly. Keep in touch with your friends and your loved ones. Drink a load of alcohol, eat a load of food, sit down and watch that Netflix show about everybody giving birth. What's it called? The crowning. And fingers crossed we can all start 2021 with a little bit more hope. I mean, if this year was the worst year for you in your life, that means that from here on out, it can only get better, right? Anyway, I'm gonna go pee-pee. I'll see you next year. Subscribe and hit that bell. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or I'll come to your house and sing carols, and I can't sing.
So can't I, man? And I have to make a singing video coming up next because I got punished. Anyways, I like to say, even though this video is in the past, I want to say outright, I hope you are doing really good, Caddicarus. And anyone who watches these videos, even though these are merely reactions, and he is doing all the work. I'm just here watching like you guys are. So, some motherfucker just took my name. Fuck you, white triplet. Kidding. I just don't see my name that often, so whenever I do, I feel like I just got my life stolen from me. To my knowledge, there's only 2,000 people in the world named Wyatt, so whenever I get to see that name, I'm like, what the hell? But I could be wrong, though. Anyways. I want to say thank you for those who watched me. But I also want to make sure that the original creator gets their attention and love and respect. I'm merely here doing what you guys want me to do with the creator's hope and wishes and the permission. Because as I previously say, I send messages, I send them through these videos. The moment they tell me to stop, I will stop. I haven't been told to stop, and the fans of you guys, the fans of Caddicarus, you guys, clearly love these reactions, so I'm going to be doing them. So, like, you comment, subscribe if you feel like it. You don't have to, but make sure you give the original creator some love, okay? I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. If you want to check out other reactions I have done, or actual original pieces of work, because I actually do original pieces of work called skits and story and lore. I also do gaming, not as often as I would like, because I have to basically pick my timing perfectly, because my internet here is shit. Basically my ping is always going down, so I have to choose my games wisely and know when to record, which is often at night and most people are asleep, and I'm a loud son of a bitch. So, basically what I'm trying to say is, check me out if you want to. Check out my other work. Don't just subscribe for this series, because you never know when it's going to end. And give love to Caddicarus. Anyways, peace.